So I wanted to address real quick the situations and the events of this last week that happened across our nation. I know there's lots of content and lots of stuff right now on social media saying many, many, many things. But first, I want to talk about what happened in my hometown, where I'm from, Evergreen, Colorado. Another shooting at a high school. I'm not going to make any claims or make any accusations about what's actually wrong with guns or control or violence or anything like that, because there's so much speculation, there's so much stuff that could be said about what's the solution. However, what I'm going to talk about is the situations in high school that lead to these kinds of people. If you don't know what happened, basically a student was in high school, or was from the school, came to the school with a revolver and never was able to get in the school. So the doors were locked, there was a lockdown, which was good. But the person who came to the school, the student with the gun, 16, and I'm not going to disclose name information like that. I know it's out there and it's public if you want to look at it. But the thing I want to address here is believers. If Christian students, people who claim to follow Jesus, who are in high school, our biggest call to action, I'm a believer, I'm a nerd, our biggest call to action is to not let the people who are on the outskirts of society stay there. I was a weird kid in high school, and I had depression. I still do struggle with it. And the things that you think about, the things that go through your mind when you are depressed and or basically filled with no hope, are eventually you lose meaning, you lose purpose in life. And I was a kid in high school who was struggling with depression. And that same thing, purpose, meaning, value. Our jobs as believers in Jesus and followers of Christ is to see where people are and to approach them and to make them feel like they belong where they are and that they have value and purpose through Jesus Christ and through the love of our Lord. If you are a student in high school and you claim to follow Jesus in any way, apart from our laws, apart from any things that could be done to affect gun violence across our world, mental health and students feeling like they're included, feeling like they have a mission, that they're part of something, they have good friends, good people, is what really can change the life and trajectory of someone. Just like this kid, the 16-year-old who came to Evergreen High School with a revolver. The reason I bring up my own story is I found a good group of friends. I found friends who would hold me accountable, but also friends that I could feel like I could belong with. If you don't feel like you belong at home, belong in your high school, you do. And if kids at your school do not make you feel accepted or valued or loved or wanted, they're all lies. Those things are not true. And especially if any Christian has made you feel that way, that is also not true. So I have two things to say. For non-believers, whether you're a believer in Jesus or not, for non-believers especially though, try to notice people. Try to stay aware of the classmates around you and do not judge them if they're weird in your eyes. Try to extend a hand Try to be real with them and treat them like an actual human being, like you would want to be treated. Christians, those who believe in Jesus, if you see a student or a classmate or somebody who sits alone at lunch, has some interesting friends or doesn't have any friends, might be ridiculed or might not have a lot of closeness in their life with friendships or school, or just they seem like they're outside of this society, the community. It is our responsibility to approach those kids and try to love them as best we can with our actions, with our deeds, with talking to them like they're actually people, and helping them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves and that they're important, because they are important. Every student is important in some way. And if you're in your high school world and you are part of your cliques and part of your things, and you see kids who are weirder than other people, who might not have a lot of friends, it is our responsibility as believers in Jesus to extend our hand to those kids, especially, and to try to help them or just be kind to them or show them that they have value. If we do not do that, we are not pursuing how we were called to. Second piece that I want to talk about is obviously the Charlie Kirk thing. Again, lots of speculations and lots of articles out there about everything that happened. Our politicians and the people in our government and anybody who's speaking about those issues is say what you want about who they are in any sense of the term. You might dislike them, you might even hate them, but we can never devolve to a place where people speaking freely have to fear for their lives. That is the only thing I will say about those. Descending to take matters in your own hands. You can do all the things you want. You can protest, you can make comments on social media, you can do whatever you want to refute somebody's messages, whatever. But assassinations and government violence should never be the solution. Or else, how is any of that better than former tyrants of this world? Now, there are situations where protesting and responding with acts is fine, but never with death. So I just want to say that today, and really just call out Christians who, if you call yourself a follower of Jesus and you side and you don't feel responsible for how the students in your school respond or how they might respond with violence to the world around them, it is our jobs as Christians, as followers of Jesus, to understand and try to just love the people around us. And if we apart from just love them, know who they are, interact with them, make them feel like they are a part of something bigger and important, because they are. And even through getting to know people, getting to know people is how you learn where they're coming from, what they're struggling with, what they're into, what kind of social media stuff they're watching. Actually take some care and consideration. To the parents of that kid in Evergreen, I know you try to do your best to understand your child and to know what they're going through. But just to, it's hard. I have no idea how hard it is to do that. So that's why I ask students to be aware of your friendships, be aware of who's around you, and pay attention to signs that might be there for difficult things. And if you don't know what signs look like, educate yourself.